What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of the Mommyana podcast with Mommyana Elia. I hope everyone is doing really well out there. I'm super excited for today's episode because I have a really amazing guest here. We have Miss Black Colorado joining us, and I was actually able to connect with her a couple of weeks ago at the Colorado Battalion Cotillion High Tea, which was like pretty much a women's empowerment event, and she was one of the panelists. And I really appreciated her sharing her story, and I thought she would be a really great guest on the podcast. So I'll let her go ahead and introduce herself first, and then we will jump into our topic today.
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Keare, Ria, and yes, Miss Black Colorado, USA 2024. We'll be heading to Nationals in DC in August for the Miss Black USA pageant. So that is coming up, but I'm super excited to be here and that you were inspired by just my regular life, just going through stuff and always looking to be an inspiration to others. So I'm excited to be here and to have this conversation with you. So thank you for having me.
Yes, awesome. I thought she was a really great speaker. So for me, I'm really like a more introverted person, and I really wanted to challenge myself to like improve my public speaking skills. That's like one of my biggest fears. Like, I don't know, when I have to talk in front of a large group of people, my voice gets all shaky and like it's bad. I have really bad anxiety when it comes to that. So I really wanted to create this podcast to help me with that. And it really has been helpful. And then also to connect with other moms out there too, specifically Black moms, just to create more community amongst us. So thanks for being on here, girl.
Absolutely. Yes.
So today's topic is going to be navigating life as a single young Black woman and Black mom. Mother's Day is approaching, so I thought it would be good to kind of deep dive into this topic, especially because it's something that I could relate to as a single mom of an almost 3 year old. Can't believe my baby's about to be 3 in a couple of weeks, but it's crazy. They grow up so fast, right?
I do.
Um, but I think a lot of women too identify as single mothers. And in my opinion, I think you're a single mom if you have your child, I'd say majority of the time. And if you're single and you are a mom, then I think that makes you a single mom, you know? You might even co parent, or in some cases like mine, you have to parallel parent because co parenting is just not feasible. But either way, I think you're still a single mom in that situation. And I
Yes.
think there's a lot of challenges that come along with that. It could be a lot tougher to reach your goals and stuff too, especially when you're a single mom, and even more challenging when you're a young single mom. So I just want to kind of deep dive into that and talk more about that. So, my first question for you is throughout your journey of motherhood, have you had a solid support system?
I have had a support system as far as from my mother, kind of being there to assist, like when if I needed a place to stay or if I just needed assistance, emergency, anything. My mom has been there. Outside of that, I probably have one good friend. She was actually there too at that event, and her sister actually works a lot with them, and all of her kids have gone through it. So she was doing the photography, but she has been a solid friend since high school, so over 20 years. And she's always been there if I needed her. That I knew like a real solid something goes down, I know I can call on these people. So it's been few, but that's okay. It was still
Yeah.
solid.
No, that's awesome too to like have such a long friendship like that. I don't think I have any friends from high school still, unfortunately. So
Rare.
yeah, it's very rare, especially as women. Like women can be
Yes.
catty and we just tend to fall out over silly stuff sometimes. So that's dope.
Yes.
Did you feel like as you were raising your daughter, like did you have a lot of friends or maybe like acquaintances and or short-lived friendships throughout the time that you raised?
Acquaintances. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I was 19 when I was pregnant with her, so I graduated '04 from Smoky Hill and ended up going to Clark Atlanta for a semester. And then when I came back for the summer, that's when I ended up meeting her father and ended up having her like a couple months after that. But I still stayed going to college and I was also working multiple jobs. So I had people that I met like through working or like at the bar type of thing, or when I did go out and try to party a little bit, but then also living in Atlanta because I moved down there when she was 4 years old and I stayed down there for 5 years. So I just moved down there on a whim, trying to pursue my broadcasting and some other things, and just kind of had to navigate through life for 5 years without real solid support system. Even though, yes, I had people that I met down there, it was people that helped me out here and there, but it wasn't like for sure, I know this person's always going to be there. So I had friends and people that I kind of hung out with and people that were there throughout times in my life. But that's pretty much the basis of that. So nothing like long standing. I do have still have some friends that live in Atlanta, and other places that I've lived that, yeah, I'm still cool with them. And if I go down and see them, would they look out for me? Yes. But it's not like we talk every day or we have a real tight friendship. Like I see them consistently.
No, that makes sense. How was that, like, living in Atlanta for that amount of time, like, with not a solid support system and raising a
It
young
was
child?
rough. It was rough. Down there in the 20s, it was different for me being in college before I had my daughter and partying, and then going down there and then having a kid. The education system, coming from here for sure, education system sucks. Just the mentality, having to be like on the lookout all the time, like a lot more crazy things can happen out there than it would here. And kind of dealing with, I dealt with some guys here and there, and wasn't the right relationship. And then ended up, getting out of that and ended up having to like restart a couple of times. So I lived in a lot of places. Like I went to Smoky Hill and kind of grew up in Centennial area, but lived in Bankhead down the street from the Piggly Wiggly and still working a state job and got people driving by like, you don't look like you belong around here. And I'm like, no, because I don't. Like living in a rooming house knowing damn well I should have, you know what I'm saying? Like not have ever been in that situation. But I mean, I learned, I was younger, but still took care of my child. It was just rough, like to just make sure that I was looking out for her. But all in all, looking over everything in the grand scheme of things, I really had the grace of God over me. So like I put myself in situations that I didn't even know I was in those situations. Outside of me looking back at it now, that I could have been gone, we would have been out of here, wiped out. So plenty of times. And so basically just having God's grace and he just looked out for me. And I was able to make it up out those situations. But it was rough. It was like I'm trying to write books at some point. I'm gonna do an audio book. And Atlanta has its own book.
Yeah. You should do it. Go for it, girl. That would be amazing. I can imagine, though. I was actually in Atlanta about, a month ago for a work conference, and I was like, "I could never live here." Like, it was nice being around a lot of Black people because, it ain't a lot of Black people out here, but
Right.
I don't know. It was, I think, too many Black people sometimes. It could be a little challenging. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was cool, but I would definitely never live there. So I could understand how that probably was for you. But
Yes.
that's a good segue to my next question. How was like dating for you as a single mom?
Trash. Um, it's still trash. Um, I'm like, Lord, where is he? Because at this point, he just gonna have to come find me because I don't got time to keep looking for you. So trash. So I mean, all in all, in general, I mean, just starting off from the first boyfriend to going to the daughter's dad and then going and having other relationships, Atlanta, uh, fun times, fun times,
Good
a
time.
lot of fun times in Atlanta, but
Short
they
time.
weren't.
Times, huh?
Yeah, it wasn't for a long time. It wasn't the right time. It was a lot of stuff. Yeah, trash. One thing too, Atlanta, there's a lot of undercover and down low men out there, and it's one of the highest places that everybody knows, for AIDS. And yeah, it's a lot of weird stuff happening out there. And I'm like, you be whoever you want to be, but you can't be out here pretending and then going home to a wife and then you know what I'm saying, like you bringing stuff home, and it's a mess out there. It's a mess. um from that to the female's perspective, I've never been a female that I feel like I need to use a guy to get something that he would ever feel like he could hold over my head type of thing. And there's a lot of females down there that are into, right, I'm getting with this guy because he got this money and we gonna set him up and we gonna do this. And a lot of guys don't understand that. And then there's the guys that want to act like they have all the money, and then that's how they're trying to get in the girls, get all the girls to, come to them. But then it's like, then you're not finding nobody real. And it's a lot of fakeness too. So there's a lot of fake things. I have met and have a lot of friends and acquaintances down there that have been in the industry, like even on Love and Hip Hop. I'm like, you are sleeping on your brother's couch, sir. You are not. Like, it's a lot of stuff that people are basically, they pretend. So basically, it is a facade in a lot of ways. Like, it's a facade. Even when I went to Clark, Atlanta, like Drumline, that was recorded on my campus. That's not what the campus looked like. We was in the middle of the projects, okay?
Mm.
The projects
Yeah,
right
most of
behind.
the HBCUs are in the hood. But
Yes, like the projects was right behind my dorm room, and we had a security desk, but wasn't no security over there. And I'm like, you would just walk on campus. So it is just like, yeah, it's just different. Like, it's just a facade, and there's a lot of things that I picked up on, and there's a lot of fake people down there. There's a lot of real people too, but it's a lot of fakes. And then it's just the South. And coming from here, going back there, I do have family from the South, but I'm just like, where is the mentality? Like, when I first moved down there, I think I told some guy I was working at a restaurant. I was like, have you ever had sushi? And he was like, don't know black people eat sushi. I'm like, yes, the hell they do. Where the hell are you living? And
right.
it's just like, you know how I feel? Yes, massa. I goes on down and pick the cotton. Like, they just so content with just like, I'm like, hello. I feel like I done went back in time. Like, and through all the stuff that I went through out there, like, in all the situations I got myself in, some very dark times that I was in down there. Like, a lot of times, like, when I write this book, it is literally, this is, yeah, I'm going to get the title out there soon. I got the book coming, and it's short stories. And you're just going to be like, what the hell, after every single one? Like, how you get yourself out that situation? How the hell you got in that damn situation? And how are you okay right now? So there's just a lot of things that I just have to share about being down there. But it is almost like I went back there. I moved back there from the last time in 2020. So I just went out there for my birthday this year. And I'm like, I can't bring my ass back here. Number one, I tried to go to the spots that I used to go to in my 20s, back in the little hood spots. And I knew damn well not to go over there. I done took my butt over there, got some money stolen out. I don't know
Oh,
what I was thinking. I'm talking about like $500. I said,
oh,
well, I
they got
guess they needed that more than me.
yes. Oh man.
Dusty busties. And I and I said, it's okay. It's okay, because money I could get back. But I'm like, okay, I know I cannot be, you know what I'm saying, like in those spaces of however I was in those spaces before. But still fun times, still turned up, still had a great time. If you ever get to Atlanta and do the Jeju Spa, I think it's in Alpharetta. It's like a Korean bath spa, and they're open 24 hours, 7 days a week. So you could just go in and pay a fee and stay there and do like little saunas, the little body, they give you the body washes,
Mm.
all types of stuff. Very peaceful.
I love
But
the Korean stuff.
yeah,
Nice. Awesome. Well, I can relate to dating being struggly too. It is trash out here, super trash,
yes,
especially when you're a good, wholesome woman. Like, it's very challenging to find someone who's on that same page as you, like, I don't know. A lot of guys don't want to put that work in, it seems like. They just want something quick and easy, and
they do.
yeah, so it's
And I'm
hard.
gonna tell you, I mean, so I'm 38, and so this is almost 40. And at this point in time, I'm like, I feel like I've been single so long. Honestly, if I were to really say, I would say I don't feel like I've ever been in a real relationship, because it hasn't been long. And they were always on some other stuff. So I don't feel like I've actually ever been in a real relationship, to be honest. And at this point in time, I'm perfectly fine. My daughter will be graduating next year, and I am looking at this new life like, what are we doing here? I have nothing but time for myself. Now, what I would like to find is a Stedman or somebody that would like to travel. That all you got to do is be my bodyguard while we traveling. Make sure nobody approaches me. You know what I'm saying, tries to kill me, anything like that, and
Right.
then we're gonna be good. But outside of that, I don't know. But of course, would I love to be married to somebody and have one person? Yes. But just taking observation of the availability of what I've seen, it just doesn't seem like there's somebody that has the majority of what I need. But you never know. The
Yeah,
Lord
you
knows
never
the
know who you're gonna
desires.
meet. Life is, we here until
You
we
never
ain't.
know.
Never know
But
who you're
I like to be free. I'm a Pisces. And honestly, I'm like, I can't be single out here for too long because I got options. And I'm like, what if I like to look at all my options? Let me figure it out.
I
Okay.
I feel you, girl. Keep them options open. It is struggly out here, though. Y'all know it's struggly. Seiko will
Yeah.
relate. And my child, I'm 32. My daughter is about to be 3 years old in a couple of weeks. So for me, like even thinking about bringing another dude around her, like just does
Yes.
not sit well with me at all. Like
Yes.
I think for me, I would keep that part of my life completely separate from my daughter, unless we like
Yes.
for real locked in, but you're not about to meet my daughter. You're not about to converse
Yes.
with her. So I don't know. And
Definitely.
it's hard because I do have my daughter like 90% of the time. So like my availability is not open like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I can see you
I
for
have a
maybe like an hour here and there, and I
I
don't
have
got
a
time to be on the
discounted
phone too
babysitter for
long.
you over here.
Huh?
I got a discounted babysitter over here for
Just
you.
gotta babysit
Oh yeah,
your daughter.
she ain't doing nothing.
Get some money, yes. My mom does help me out a ton though. My mom and my sister, they help out a ton. So I love them and I'm super grateful and appreciative. Yeah, dating is struggling. I'm like, maybe right now it's just not my time. Guys don't really approach me either. So I'm like,
And they're
I don't know, maybe
weird.
they be scared.
And they're weird. It's
Right?
like
Kinda weird. They'll
for
just
some
stare at
reason
you and not say anything. I'm like,
it's just weird. It's like, come on now, what are we doing?
right, right.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. Okay, well, let's go into thanks for sharing that, but let's go into the next
I have
question.
stories for days.
I love it, girl. I love it. But you mentioned you graduated from college and you worked in various job sectors. I remember you talking about when you were a panelist and you were involved in your community too. So, how did you balance all of that while being the single mom?
Um, hmm. I don't know. I definitely feel like I have way more energy. I'm getting my energy back now, but I feel like I had way more energy when I was younger, and I just felt motivated, like to just try to do everything. Basically, like I just felt motivated to want to do all of those things. Because obviously didn't have to do that. But like I wanted to be the first person in my family to get a degree. So I'm like, I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to push forward. My mom had me at the same age I had my daughter. So it was like, I need to kind of break this and do something different. So I forced myself to do the whole college thing. That was a lot, but that was what I was passionate about, anyways. So I wanted to do something that I was passionate about. And yeah, I hated school. Probably the best time that I had was doing my internship and actually getting that working physically. And so that was probably the best time, and that was towards the end. But outside of that, just working. I don't know. I needed to make money. I had goals, and I just motivated myself. Like I've just had a motivation always to kind of just pull myself out of whatever and just keep it moving.
Well, that's great because I don't think a lot of people are just built like that. Some people will allow their circumstances to like kind of just let them crumble and like not continue to persevere and just move forward. Some people let life get the best of them. So I think that's really amazing. And like, I commend you for that because I can't imagine like going through school and working and having to raise a child. Like I completed my last semester of my master's program when I had my daughter, and I was like, "Woo, there's no way I would have finished the whole time like this." Like it would have been, I would have
Yeah.
finished because I'm always going to finish what I start, but it would have been an extended amount of time. So um,
Yeah.
that's super dope that you did that. That's what's up.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And so my other question is, did you or do you have like a good co-parenting relationship with your child's father?
So yes. So my co-parenting relationship is perfect. So basically, her father, who's about 7 years older than me, was married before me, got married after. It was a little situation. And he made the wrong move, didn't think properly, and then ended up locked up. So he wasn't really around anyways, kind of before before 3 years old, basically. Like it was you need to see your child situation. And I kind of tried to make that happen as much as possible. And then he got into a situation with a lady of the opposite side. And he was in a space where it basically like you're not gonna have any control over this situation. And yeah, he screwed himself is what he did. But basically he got incarcerated for 40 years. So he's been in there since 2010. So that's when I ended up moving back to Atlanta when she was 4, because I felt like when I came out here for college, I felt like even though I finished school out here, I felt like I got distracted, like I should have been in Atlanta. And so when he got incarcerated, I was just like, well, Lord, is this you? It wasn't him, but it was, I was like, Lord, is this you telling me to go back to Atlanta? And that's exactly what I did. And yeah, so he's been in there. So that's been since 2010. Now, what I will tell you is that all this time that he's been in, I'm the only one that has brought our child to see him throughout these years. The only person that has, put money in his books for him to talk to her throughout these years, or to write her and things like that. Because the one thing that I always said is like, I'm never going to be like, regardless of whatever he did, that's for him to suffer the consequences and have to figure it out and rekindle that relationship. Like, I'm not going to ever be the person that stops you or is talking bad about your dad. Like, you're going to see whatever you see. And I never was that. So I never said anything negative. And I kind of just made sure that he still could have a relationship with her as much as possible. So yeah, that was grueling on my part because I didn't have to do those things, but I chose to. And that's driving when I did come back in town for hours, or being when I lived here a couple hours to see him and to sit there, especially when she was little, and trying to get her to pay attention and spend time with your dad. And now it's like I haven't taken her. We moved back here in 2020. Think I took her one time since we've been back, but I'm not sure. I am going to try to take her again before she turns 18. But at this point, it's just kind of like that is up to them to figure out. And if she chooses to foster that relationship with him, I don't think right now she really cares at this point, but she's also a teenager. So I'm like, she barely talks to me and she live here unless she wants something to eat or some money. So it is just like, I don't know what to tell you. If she answers the phone, she answers the phone. Like, I am working. There is stuff going on out here in real life. He just screwed up and screwed himself basically. So our co-parenting relationship is perfect, but it's not really perfect because I don't have nobody and haven't had anybody to drop her off to. There could have been a lot of more things that I could have done if I would have had that other person to take on half of that responsibility throughout these years. And so it was like I probably could have not ended up in a lot of situations if I would have been able to move a little bit differently. So it is what it is. But yeah, it's time is here.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's nice that you always kept the lines of communication open for them and allowed her to make her own choices, because I think our kids always find out who we are. Like, you're always going to be revealed, even us, the dad. So, like, kids are smart. They pick up on it. So that's good. You kind of left that up to her.
the only thing though is that so I don't know if I ever like had a conversation with her about stuff like that has happened. And then I know she got mad at me one time and she was just like, you didn't even tell me why he was locked up. I had to find it on Google. And I'm like, well, like, that's not something you tell a 4 or 5 year old. Oh, let me just tell you what your dad did. Like, it's not a thing. And since then, the only thing that I've been sharing with her is like, now obviously that she's turning 18, if you're talking to me about some boy And some other stuff, like, yes, I'm going to share certain parts of like, this is something that happened because I would like you to learn from this situation
Mhm.
and to make a better choice. So now that she's about to be grown, like, yes, I can share these things with her, but I never wanted to put that in her brain this time of, you know, I'm going to foster the relationship with you and him until you decide you don't want to have that. Or if you decide that.
Right. And there's a time for everything to have like those types of conversations. Do you feel like you and your daughter have a pretty close relationship?
I don't know. It's up and down every day.
Well, she's a
One
teenager, so
one minute she's telling me I'm praying on her downfall. The next minute she's waking me up. Good morning, my beautiful black queen. Is it okay if you take me to Starbucks? No, get the hell out of my face. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, she's hilarious. I love her. She is me times 1,000, and like on the funny scale. Like, I love her. She's less emotional than me. Me and her dad are both Pisces. She's a Scorpio. She gives 0. But right now she's just in her little hard head stage. I'm like, you need to be focused on, graduating and taking care of your business and not on anything extra outside of that. So trying to get her on track. But at the end of the day, we all make our own decisions and she just gonna have to learn.
yeah. She'll
Cause
be good. She has a great mom, so she'll be good.
yeah, hopefully one day she'll listen.
Yeah, she will. She will. We always come back
She's
and
like,
be like,
I know,
"Dang, I should have
mom.
listened to mama." Like,
I know. I
I'm
know,
not
mom. I know, mom. I know. I'm like, well, if you knew, then why the hell am I talking about this again for the 30th time?
That's how you
So yeah,
learn in life, though. You gotta bump your head sometimes. That's how you learn
I
some of
know.
life's greatest lessons, and I'm sure it's hard to watch, like, as a mom. I can't
Of
imagine
course.
that level. Like, you just
Yes.
wanna save save them, but
I'm like, you're going over a cliff.
yes. Like, I
No, I'm
see it.
not.
I'm trying
No,
to
I'm
tell
not.
you.
You're like, yeah. All right. No.
Yeah.
All right.
She'll be fine, though. Keep praying
Yeah.
over her and, keep being a great mom. She'll be fine. So what advice would you give to your daughter or other young girls, who I would say, like, in regards to, like, reaching their goals?
Um, well, if you know what your goal is, whatever that is, the advice that I would give is to not listen to anybody else if they're trying to deter you from reaching for your goals or telling you that something is too big or how are you going to do this and how are you going to figure that out. If you believe in God, I say rely on pure is blind faith. It is knowing that God has a purpose. It is knowing that everything that He has put inside of you and your passions is what He has put in there. And so it's going to be a way. It might not be on your timing. So I say, speak to God first and talk to Him first so you can avoid doing a whole bunch of extra crap for no reason, a bunch of extra work. And then be like, oh, why didn't it work out? Well, maybe it wasn't the timing. Maybe you didn't confer with the Lord and ask Him, is this the right time? Is this what I should be doing? Is this the direction I need to be going? And what is it that I need to be doing? And it might be a variation of something that you thought you were going to do. It took me a while to kind of get to that point because I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. This is the only way it's going to be, and it's going to be my way type of thing. And then when I rushed into it and tried to just do stuff, then it didn't work out exactly how I wanted it to work out. And then now I'm over here crying and Lord, why? And then I prayed and then he turned it around. But what I did learn is that to come to him first, seek him first and everything in all your ways, right? And then everything else is going to be added to that. And it's going to be added in a way that you couldn't even think of or fathom, and doors opening for you that are bigger than your little brain even thought of. And so that is where I am tapping into right now, is just all the things and all the visions that I've had. It has been more so like, what is it that you want me to be doing with this? What is it that you want me to be doing and trying to reach people? And everything that I'm pursuing is in a way helping other people, helping elevate people, helping encourage other people. So I am, yeah, like that's the advice that I got, is to seek him and everything else is going to come. You don't have to think about anything else. When you really put God first, like, you don't have to think of anything. Like, it's
Amen.
just easy peasy. And then stuff just starts opening up. and he just makes a way. So that is advice, but in the more literal sense as well, like just pushing for whatever you want, like map out a plan, and that kind of goes against that, but you can still map out a plan and lay out like what are the things that I need to be doing. And even if it means taking one small step, doing one little thing a day, you're working towards that, and you're working towards your goal. So yeah, like just, and I say go for the stars. Like don't let anybody limit you. Do not feel like you got to be in a box and this is the only way that I can get here and this is the only thing that I can do, because it's not true. You can create, and other things can be opened up in other avenues, in other directions. So I say just push for what you want to do and be fearless in that, but then research, look up stuff, figure it out, and the way that you should be doing it. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yes, I agree. I echo that. Amen. Be strong, young ladies out here. Be courageous.
Yes.
I like that. Any advice for single moms out there?
Woo! Drink some wine.
Drink some wine. That's what I'm about to do as soon as we get off
Smoke some weed.
Smoke some weed. Hit the blunt one time.
Lock your doors. Mommy's having me time. Figure it out for 5 minutes. No, but seriously, take time for yourself. For me, yes, I have a teenager, and yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I got to be calm, because if I'm not calm, then my Pisces energy might come out and I might end up on A&E, and I don't want to be there. I'll be like, please don't make me do it. So basically, listen, I love my child. The advice I say is, number one, don't be too hard on yourself. Take time for yourself. Put yourself first. Don't let, and even if you love children, now you love them when they first come. When you give them teenagers, that's not the same conversation, okay? At all, from anybody. From nobody. Like, it's like, oh my God, my cute little Johnny. Yes, until Johnny starts telling you what you're not doing in your house. And you telling Johnny you gotta go. I don't know where you gonna go. You better find your daddy. I don't know where he at, but you gotta go. So basically, like, seriously, like, keep it stuff in perspective. Do not lose yourself. Like, do not lose yourself, because right now with my daughter graduating, I'm like, I feel like I'm tapping back into my energy. I felt like I used to be just so free and very just like, oh my gosh, the stars limit. And then I feel like being in her mom, and then having to work and having to do all these things. Then you get into a space of like, oh, I have to do all this stuff. And it's like, you never get time for yourself. And I almost felt like I kind of lost myself, which is why now I'm tapping in to, like, I'm about to be a whole empty nester, counting down in less than 365 days. And it is a whole new world. And I'm like, what am I going to do with myself besides being Mimi's mom? Like, who am I? And who am I at almost 40, still feeling like I'm young and looking young,
You still
but
PYT girl.
huh?
You still PYT. You still young. You definitely do not look 30. You said 36?
38.
38. You do not look 38.
I know. I told my daughter, I said, Mommy's about to be back out here on these streets, but I can't, not like how I used to, because I got to take naps. Okay. Yeah. Like, I take naps.
Naps are essential.
They are essential. And I can't hang like I used to, but like, seriously, like, not losing yourself, because if I had additional children, I don't know what the heck.
Are you open to having more kids?
No.
No.
Let's
get to know, fellas. If you're looking for no more babies.
No. Your kids got to be up almost out the house, or you see them a couple holidays, because we're gonna be traveling, and or you got money to cover a nanny. You know what I'm saying? And you gonna be watching them. I feel like I have worked so hard since 19, 18, and like really hustling and doing way more than the average single parent, and then moved around on top of that, had no support, and still survived. Like, I survived in Atlanta for 5 years. Nobody understands. It's
You
rough.
deserve to live your best life, girl. You
Yes.
not even 40, you still are young out here. You can do it
Eh,
all. Yes, live your best.
okay. So I'm like, yeah, this is my time. Like, and so I'm trying to figure out like what does that look like? So basically everything that I'm doing now, all these business ventures that I'm tapping into is because I feel like I should have been working. Like I already had these visions. I just didn't tap into them because I was like, okay, I'm just working. Let me do this stuff. I had to tap back into my creativity, tap back into my vision. Like work is not my vision. This is just something I'm doing on a day-to-day basis to pay the bills consistently. However, I have time to put into my other stuff. So I started just pushing towards those things to jump back into stuff that is really my passion. And then now I'm just turning it into so that I can have it where I can work virtually and then still maintain these things, but be free. Like I want to go everywhere. Like I worked for the airlines when I first had my daughter. I had a passport. I never used it. It expired last year, 15 years from the date of issuance. I never used it one time
Aw.
because I was doing so much stuff. So I went and got my passport. I'm going to, obviously, so I'm going to my father's funeral this weekend, coming back Saturday night, going to Cancun Monday, coming back Thursday, going to Vegas Friday, coming back Monday.
Oh, wow, you're doing it.
And this will be my first time going out the country. And yeah, it's happening.
Yes. Well, I hope you have so much fun. That's gonna be
Thank you.
nice, like, to travel to, especially after your dad's service, I'm sure. Definitely
Yeah,
sending my
it's going to
condolences
be much
for
needed.
that
Yes,
too.
it's going to be needed.
Yes, for sure. Well, girl, thank you so much for joining. It's been a good conversation. Oh, I
Yes.
wanted you to too share, like, some people might be interested in learning how they could get involved with Miss Black Colorado. Like, how do you sign up for that? How did you get involved? What is it exactly? Like, the pageant?
So so Miss Black USA. So I'm Miss Black Colorado. That's the MS. That's the division that I'm in, based off of my age. And Miss MISS Black USA pageant is basically a pageant that was launched. I want to say it was like 1985 or 1986, maybe a little bit later. And basically it was launched as a pageant. There's a lot of different pageants. Number one, like there's Miss Colorado. There's all different types of pageants. There's Miss, there's a lot of different pageants. So
Mhm.
basically, this is a pageant that was created for Black women, so that it would kind of just like the stigma. I never wanted to be in a pageant ever because the only pageants I ever saw were just these skinny white girls
Right.
prancing around here with no body. I'm like, what are we doing here? I want world peace. What would you do if you had superpowers? I'd give everyone world peace. Well, how? How would you do it? So for me, I'm like, yeah, no, like that's not my thing. And so then I randomly saw this ad. I don't know if it was on Facebook or Instagram, and it was just like, oh, sign up. And I said, oh, they got the categories. They got the teen, they got the Miss, which is the MISS, and then they have the Ms, which is I think age range from 29 or 30 up until 42. So I was like, ooh, I said, why not? Let me do it. And I said, it's for black women, number one, so I don't have to worry about like my hair needs to be, in the perfect straightest weave, and I need to look a certain type of way to compete with these white girls or whatever. So I said, why not? Let me just try. So basically, I just ended up entering into it, and then had to do like a talent competition. So I sing. That's what I got. What I got from my dad because he played for Prince. He did a lot of other things, and so my musical talent comes from that, and then also just like singing in the choir when I was younger and growing up. So I had to do that, and then a active wear, and then an evening wear, and then just kind of answer a question. And then you have to have a platform. So, coming down to the platform, like what are you advocating for basically? And so when I was thinking about that, I'm like, there's a lot of things that I've been through in life that I could advocate for. I could also talk about my broadcasting camp for the teens that I'm trying to do because of social media and the effects that it has on our teens, and basically having them reutilize that and repurpose it into something for good. or I could represent me as a Black woman and what I do on a daily basis, which is being a single mom. And what I had already was my idea to do my nonprofit, which is the Just for Us Black Single Parent Initiative, basically providing community and financial support to single Black moms and dads, which we should definitely talk because I need some people on my board.
Yeah, love to.
So
Let me know.
yeah, so basically just kind of providing that in a like nationwide and virtually. And so I'm super excited about that. And I said, okay, I guess that's going to be my platform, pushing that out there. And that's something that I embody on a daily basis of being a single mom and helping other people and doing all these things to elevate myself on a daily basis. So I more so was excited about the fact that I would have an opportunity to kind of push my platform out there, not more so of the superficial side of being in a pageant because I don't really care about that. Now, however, when I did think about it, I said, well, I don't know how many, you know, women will be in this division that are even closer to my age that have really been keeping up with themselves either, too. So I
Mhm.
said, why not? Let me just jump on in there. And that's what I did and got that. I'm super excited to go to DC in August for the Miss Black USA. Yeah, it's just the whole pageant aspect of things. Um, it's different. Like I went to a pageant to support somebody, and one of the girls who I ended up meeting, she was actually there to it at that event. I met her by default by talking to her mom. She didn't win, and she's pregnant, and that's what they told her. Like she didn't win because she was pregnant. And I'm like, to me, that is backwards because wouldn't that show a woman that's stronger? But I don't know if they were looking at it from the aspect of she can't do too much because it's unknown on that type of thing. But for me, I don't like all that stuff. So I don't really care, honestly, if I win because I feel like I've already won. You can't take my crown. And but it's more so about the opportunities that have kind of been opened up and being able to use the platform to kind of push the nonprofit and work with the community in whatever capacity that I can.
Nice. Dope.
I know that was a long-winded answer, but
No,
I
thank you for sharing. I think some people would definitely be interested in learning more about that. What's your Instagram? Where can the people find you at?
yes. So for the Miss Black Colorado, that is MS Black Colorado USA. That is on Instagram. And then my personal Instagram is Keare's World. That's KEAREZ World. And that is on Instagram. And that is basically where I'll be getting my website up soon. But where I'll post like all my hosting stuff that I do. So I DJ, I do wedding officiant, I host various shows like trivia and bingo and um, karaoke sometimes around the city currently. And then like my stuff for if you need notary services, different things like that. I have a podcast too, which I'll have to get you on there.
Yeah.
It's called Eat Dessert First and basically highlighting entrepreneurs and people that are doing stuff backwards or against the grain type of thing. So just showing that type of thing and the positivity out there. And when I start traveling, I have my other podcast that I'll be doing that'll be coming out and I'll just be popping up in different countries and showcasing like all the different places to go. And I'm super excited about that.
I love
So
that. You got a lot going on, girl. I love it.
I do.
Yes, stay tuned, folks.
I have a sea moss juice line that's coming out soon too.
Oh, nice. Yes, you
So
guys follow her. Stay tuned in. She
definitely.
has a lot coming y'all's way. But thanks again for joining us, friends. This has been a really good conversation. I really enjoyed it. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Mommyana Podcast and also find me on Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I'm pretty much on all platforms as well as TikTok. You can actually access all of these platforms through Urban Spectrum's Art 19 platform, which I just joined. And the link to that is on my Instagram podcast. And a special shout out to my brother who does all of the editing of my podcast, Derek. You can also follow him at D Weatherly Beats on Instagram. So shout out to him. And I'm always looking for guests to come on here. So if you'd like to join as a guest, slide in my DMs and we can arrange that. But until next time, see you guys later.
D Weatherly gon' kill it.